This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, so close. Oh, so close was William Contreras to walking this thing off in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Unfortunately, falls just a few feet short, and so do the Brewers tonight. They fall to the Braves out there in Williamsport in the Little League Classic. Your final 4-2, still 31 games over 500, 81 and 50 on the season. Hello, everyone. Welcome in to the Locked On Brewers POSTCAST. I am your host. My name is Brandon Sneide. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Sneide. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Brewers your first listen each and every single day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. A tough one tonight for the Brewers. A lot of missed opportunities. We will certainly dive into the box score. We'll get into the Locked On Brewers POSTCAST player of the game, and we'll get into your thoughts, your reactions. Maybe some of you have some frustrations. You can vent it out. We'll talk about it here on a non-victorious edition of the Locked On Brewers POSTCAST. A good weekend overall, though, for our Milwaukee Brewers. So let's dive into it out there in the Little League Classic in Williamsport. Without further ado, the Brewers, if there was going to be an inning that was going to tell us the story of this game, boy, oh boy, it was going to be early, and it was going to be in one of those games for the Brewers. And unfortunately, in the bottom half of the second, after being down 1-0 already, just a golden missed opportunity.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So the Brewers in the bottom half of the second inning were down 1 in this one, and man, oh man, they are going to look back at the bottom half of the second inning and be one of those innings where they just get one hit. That the outcome of this game is probably slightly different. Bottom half of the second inning, Jake Bauers would strike out to lead things off. Okay. Andrew Vaughn then with a single, Christian Yelich with a single, Joey Ortiz would walk, Tyler Mahle would struggle to find the strike zone in this one and in this bottom half of the second inning, and the bases would be loaded for the Milwaukee Brewers with less than 2 outs. And yes, certainly the lack of runners and scoring production has been more heightened as we've been, going on in the second half of the season. But man, oh man, for the Brewers not to be able to put a run across the plate in that bottom half of the second inning because Garrett Mitchell would strike out and David Hamilton would line out. A good play by Ronald Acuna Jr. out there in right field, a sliding catch to get it David Hamilton. So with the bases loaded with less than 2 outs, the Brewers would leave the bottom half of the second inning by not being able to score a run, and that would come back to bite them because a run or two potentially changes the outcome of this game. Now, the Brewers did get an RBI single from Jake Bauers in the third. They also added a run in the 8th inning off the bat of Luis Lara, who came in. Garrett Mitchell hit by a pitch. Forearm contusion is the early word on Garrett Mitchell. He did say in the game, left the game when the Brewers went out to the on the defensive side of things. So Luis Lara with an RBI triple. But the other big turning point in this one, sort of a double turning point, was the Michael Harris, the second homer in the top half of the 9th inning. If the Brewers are down 3-2, it might be a little bit different. In the approach at the plate might be a little bit different. But man, William Contreras, guys, with runners on first and second in the bottom half of the 9th inning, he missed a walk-off home run, maybe by a foot, maybe. I'd have to go back and look at exactly how deep that ball went. It might have been out of the park at American Family Field, so I'd have to go back and see, but it was deep. It was a deep fly ball from William Contreras and just a tick on the bat, or we're talking about a Brewers win in this one. Let's get into the box score. Shane Drohan got the start for the Brewers. Overall, I mean, exactly what you needed out of Shane Drohan. The offense just simply didn't come through. The Brewers lose 4-2. Each team had 11 hits on the day. The Braves just had a few extra more hits with runners in scoring position. Shane Drohan, 5 innings pitched, did allow 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and the Brewers bats just letting them down, 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position in today's ballgame. I mentioned the 11 hits. Andrew Vaughn, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, each having multiple hits in this one. William Contreras, man, the average is nearing 270 for William Contreras. He is finding his stroke, and this is exactly when you want him to kind of get going. The Cubs did win today, so your NL Central lead goes back down to 6 games. But you started the weekend with a 5-game lead. It's a 6-game lead at the end of the weekend. So overall, still a good weekend for the Brewers. We mentioned Luis Lara with an RBI triple in this one. Bryce Terrain also had a hit, as did Jake Bauers. But the story of the game was the Brewers had too many missed opportunities. They couldn't cash in. 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. And on the other side, I mean, the Braves just had 2 extra hits, 4 for 13. So almost both of these teams having the same amount of opportunities with runners in scoring position. The Braves with 2 extra hits, the Brewers not able to get it done. And again, it's sort of their recipe for how they lose ball games, certainly as of late over the last 30, 45 days. You got a good outing from Shane Drohan. I think pretty much gave you exactly what you needed today in 5 innings of work. Did give up 8 hits, but only allowed 2 earned runs, got himself out of some jams on the bases and worked his way out of those. David Hamilton with a heck of a play, ranging over from third to shortstop and making one of the best double plays you will certainly see this season. Grant Anderson, 2/3 of an inning, and the Brewers bullpen for the most part held it down. Grant Anderson, 2/3 of an inning, no earned runs. DL Hall, an inning and a third, came in, no earned runs, no hits. Bryce Wilson had 1 inning of work, just a hit, nothing else. Aaron Ashby did give up the solo homer to Michael Harris in this one, so that that definitely stunned a little bit. But really, it came down to not so much the pitching, but it really came down for me to the lack of being able to cash in when you had runners in scoring position. Overall, guys, this was a good weekend. This was a really good weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. It really, really was. They won 2 out of 3 against an Atlanta Braves team who is certainly going to be in the postseason, who is going to probably be in your way and getting to the World Series. If I told you before Friday night's game 1 at the Brewers win 2 out of 3, I guarantee you everybody in here would sign up for that. Everybody would be all about that. With Chris Sale on the mound as well Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon and sort of a weird quirky, quirk in their schedule where they flew out this morning, which I thought was interesting, a little odd. So they flew out this morning and headed out to Williamsport and got there and spent the whole day, obviously, taking in all the festivities. But nonetheless, I mean, it was overall a good weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. Listen, you held this Braves team to low scoring, and this is a really good Braves offense. I mean, this is a really good Braves offense. You held them. They scored 6 runs on the weekend, guys. 6 runs on the weekend. That's it. The Brewers scored 8, if you look at it that way. Now the season series between these two teams split right down the middle, 3-3. The Brewers winning 2 at home and the Braves winning 2 at home, and each team taking 1 on the road, sort of on the road, I suppose, if you're the Braves. I'm not really sure how that counts with the tiebreaker and the road and whatnot, but just one of those things. Overall, I think it was a good weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. You did exactly what they needed to do. You needed to win a series. You needed to maintain pace in the NL Central, and you gained a game at the end of the weekend. So overall, a good weekend for our Milwaukee Brewers. We'll talk about the Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, and we'll get into your thoughts, your reactions. And I see you guys. You're lined up with some of your frustrations. We'll get to it all after the Brewers fall to the Braves in the series finale in the Little League Classic. Your final today, 4-2. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by Amazon. And thanks to our friends over at Amazon for this limited break. We know how crazy the back-to-school shopping experience can be. In this back-to-school season, Amazon is helping you spend less on your kids. It all starts with a few items on the list, and boom, suddenly you're shopping for supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, and about 10 other things you didn't see coming. And certainly it does add up fast. And when it's 9 p.m., the night before school starts, and somebody suddenly remembers they need folders, notebooks, markers, and apparently 12 other things nobody mentioned until now, nothing gets the heart rate up quite like emergency school shopping. I'm convinced Prime's Deliver Tomorrow Before 7 a.m. feature was created exclusively for parents in this moment. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop back-to-school at Amazon and spend less on your kids this back-to-school season. Thank you for making Locked On Brewers your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. A tough one for the Brewers tonight. Certainly had multiple chances in this one. They fall to the Braves in game 3 in the Little League Classic, your final 4-2, and a good start, I thought, from Shane Drohan in this one. The bullpen, minus a home run given up by Aaron Ashby, certainly held their own as well. The Brewers missing some opportunities at the plate, but let's talk about it. Let's end the weekend on a positive.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Game ball today for me goes out to William Contreras, and for really only one reason. Well, I mean, he would have almost been the season Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game if he walked that thing off and they came back down 2 runs in the 9th inning and just missed one in the bottom half of the 9th inning. But he's 2 for 5 on the day, and it's just continued to stack success for William Contreras, and it's just what you want to see. And he has been consistent for this Milwaukee Brewers team. So I did not want to leave the show without mentioning that I'm happy for William Contreras. We talked about it. It was a big talking point on this program. Can William Contreras get his bat turned around? And we said it. Collectively, we were frustrated. We were, a little annoyed, but we knew that bat is just too damn good to be held back and what it was doing for the Brewers, or what it wasn't doing, what I should say. And so it's a good weekend overall for William Contreras. Had 4 hits the other day, just continues to stack success and swing a hot bat. And it's going to be huge for the Brewers because we know what looms for them at the end of this month, beginning in September as well, with those games against the Chicago Cubs. And obviously you're in a race for the NL Central. You're in a race for the top spot in the National League, at least one of the top 2 seeds, and you are going to need William Contreras. So getting him right and continuing to stay right was good for William in this one. Christian Yelich, also a couple of hits. I think I may have missed him earlier on. He was 2 for 3 as well, including a double for for Christian Yelich. So that's also something to monitor as well. But Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, I'm going with Shane Drohan. It wasn't, again, all weekend we sat here and said, it wasn't a great Jacob Mizorowski start. It wasn't a great Logan Henderson didn't have his stuff. Jacob Mizorowski didn't have his stuff, is what I should have said. Shane Drohan didn't really either, but what I love about Shane Drohan, and I sound like a broken record because it's just kind of been, he's very consistent with it, just pounds the zone. And I thought he's going to he takes the loss tonight, falls to 6-5 on the season, but 5 innings of work, 2 earned runs. Man, that he's about to hit the bullpen here shortly. And I think that's going to be his role. At least that's what Pat Murphy had alluded to. But he gave this Brewers offense multiple opportunities. I mean, how much different is this game if the Brewers offense in the 2nd inning gets a run or 2 off of a hit? It's probably a completely different game. Shane Drohan's probably the winner in this game, and we're talking about a good start from William Contreras. But I think for me, the Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, you obviously give a game ball to William Contreras. Christian Yelich also 2 for 3 on the day, but Shane Drohan, I thought, was really, really good in this one. Wasn't his best stuff, but did have was able to work himself out of a couple of jams. So I thought a good overall day for Shane Drohan, really a good overall weekend for the Brewers pitching. I mean, again, if you told me Friday before the game that they would hold the Braves with that offense to 6 runs all weekend, guys, 6 runs, man, we are signing up for that. We are absolutely, I don't know about you, I'm signing up for that. So we'll put a bow on it. I mean, the pitching all weekend, getting the Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, just a really good weekend overall for the Brewers. They take 2 out of 3. You get a game on the Chicago Cubs. Again, win series. You're not going to be able to win every game. It's unrealistic to expect that this team isn't going to drop a game or 2 here or there, right? It certainly can be frustrating when they fall 4-2 and they had 12 opportunities at the plate with runners in scoring position. They only get 2 hits. Yes, certainly. But there will also be games where they score 22 runs, guys. We just saw that, a couple days ago, a little less than a week ago. So it will come back, and don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if they go in New York and sweep the Mets, or at least take 2 out of 3 and look like a different offense. It's just one of those things, and they're finally starting to get some of their bats moving in the right direction. The one thing to monitor is, of course, as I mentioned, the Garrett Mitchell forearm contusion. Hopefully it is nothing serious going forward. Let's get to your thoughts, your reactions, how you guys are feeling, some of your frustrations. Everydayer Jacob leading us off says, I can't be too mad about the results tonight. Costly fielding mistakes and runners in scoring position woes doomed us here. Yeah, David Hamilton's foot on the turf slipping, allowing an infield single and a run to score. That was unfortunate for the Brewers. Andrew Vaughn had a ball at first base that he just misplayed. It would have been a very, very close play, as I believe it was D.L. Hall was coming over to cover. That would have been a tough play, and I'm not really sure exactly how, that one would have, folded, or unfolded. It was an unearned run for D.L. Hall. Should have probably been a play Andrew Vaughn makes. He didn't. So to Jacob's point, yeah, he's right. But at the end of the day, too, man, he had guys on base all the time, all game long, and the base is loaded with less than 2 outs. You got to score a run. Everydayer Drew says going to lose once in a while, especially to one of the best teams in baseball. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I agree with Drew. I agree with Jacob. There's aspects of it to be frustrated about. There's no question. There's no question about it. But, man, you took 2 out of 3 against the Atlanta Braves. They're 21 games over 500, guys. That is a good baseball team. And you took care of business. If this game is at American Family Field tonight, are the results different? Maybe. I don't know, right? I told you I didn't like the Little League Classic game. I love the game. I love what they do. I love how all of it is produced. I thought it was fantastic. I really do. I love that part of it. I didn't like that the Brewers lost the home game to the Braves in the process, which I know these things are scheduled beforehand. You just never know how it's going to fold. I would rather just be NL versus AL, and it's just a series where one of the home teams loses a home game and that's it. But I did not like that at the beginning when I saw this. It was before the series started. We talked about it. It's just one of those things that's unfortunate timing. Would it be different at American Family Field? That hit from William Contreras might have been out of it. They mentioned it at the broadcast. I don't know exactly how far it actually landed, but it was pretty far. But yeah, to Drew's point, it's just one of those things. You're gonna lose games. Hey, you took 2 out of 3. Mission accomplished, in my opinion. Electronic Dancing Commando, what a YouTube handle, says was good the first half of the season. Now lost control. Not really sure if that's a sarcastic comment there, but lost control. I mean, they just beat the Dodgers 3 out of 4. They just beat the Mariners 2 out of 3 and just beat the Braves 2 out of 3. They did get swept, by the Padres. I'll give you that, I suppose. But after the All-Star break, they've actually been a pretty good team. So I think maybe there's some sarcasm in there. Everydayer B Brown says that was a good game though. Wild Bill was a couple of feet away from walking it off. We won the series. Now it is on to the Mets. I'm liking this attitude from you guys, from most of you guys at least. A lot of you. Yeah, I'm like you guys, man. I want to win every game. Right? I just do. Like, I want to win every game. I expect my team to at least try to win every game. Sometimes it's going to go your way. Sometimes it's not. And today was just, we mentioned the 2 fielding issues there for the Brewers. If those don't happen, right? Like, it's a 2-2 ball game, right? And then, maybe the Brewers approach in the 9th is different and they walk it up. Like, a lot of things can be kind of what ifed at the end of it, but there were certainly opportunities. You can be frustrated about the lack of production in those opportunities that were handed to you. I will not question that. But if you told me on Friday afternoon before the first pitch between Sale and Mizorowski that this Brewers team would win 2 out of 3, I'm telling you, I'm taking that. I don't care how it looks. Everydayer Andrew says, ouch. Oh, well, Contreras almost won us the game. Yeah, so close. Esner Noble on YouTube and Everydayer says, can't win them all. And I'll say it again. We all know this team can play better, and they have, right? And to his point, he's right. Like, you can't win them all. It's annoying. It's a little frustrating. But at the end of the day, we've seen them play better, and I think they will play better. And I think tonight was just one of those nights where just, those missed opportunities just got away from them, and unfortunately, it results in a loss. Everydayer Harley says all 3 games were competitive. 2-1 Brewers win, 4-1 Brewers win, and a 4-2 Brewers loss. Yeah, and look at that. It's just not a lot of scoring. We talked about it. I think it was on Friday, and the things you'll be talking about tomorrow after the game on Friday. And I said, like, this is how these games are going to go, man. They're going to be playoff type games. They're going to be low scoring. It's going to be a defensive play here or there that wins you or loses you a game. It's going to be a pitch here or there that wins or loses you a game. And it was almost a William Contreras winner today. And how much fun would we be having right now if that actually happened? They were close. And to Harley's point, this is a preview of the postseason for this Brewers team and for that Braves team. And if this was the postseason, the Brewers would be up in the series 2-1, and they'd be in a good spot. So there are still a lot of positives to take away. Everydayer Mason says big series win. 11 hits is great, and we won't be that bad with runners in scoring position all that often. Still a lot of positives from the series as a whole. You guys are ending my weekend on such a good note, despite a Brewers loss, because I love I love the mindset that we're in right now because I completely agree. I think the other one may have been sarcastic, saying they're losing control, but nonetheless, I think we're all kind of on the same boat here. Jay Hall on YouTube says, close game. Hopefully Wild Bill can hit that ball a little harder, but almost walked him off. I think, well, they talked about it on the broadcast. Carl Ravitch, he talked about it. He's like, man, they thought that was gone. Like, they thought it was gone. He did say at American Family Field, it may have been gone. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head on what the distance was, the ball was hit and where the field and exactly where the spot was at American Family Field it would have gone. But yeah, I mean, it was right there. Brad and Everyday says, goodness, this offense, guy on third, less than 2 outs is going to bite us in the playoffs. It certainly can. It certainly can. And it's something this team has to be better at. There's no question. It's August 23rd. They got a month and a week to kind of get things sort of figured out. And I agree, but you're starting to see, Brad, some of the sun peeking through the clouds for this Brewers offense, right? You're waiting a little bit on Bryce Terrain to be a little bit better, but you're getting it from William Contreras, right? You know, the sun coming through the clouds, Wild Bill coming through a little bit. I don't know. Christian Yelich, guys, he's been barreling the baseball up. It really, truly has been some bad luck. Like, I'm not making an excuse for him. Tonight he was 2 for 3. That would be a huge development for this Milwaukee Brewers team if they're able to sort of get him going. And obviously getting Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bauers in the lineup together will certainly help. So you're seeing a little bit of it, Brad. I agree. With runners, I mean, and what makes that second inning even a little bit more frustrating is Mitchell and Hamilton had to count both at 3-0. Both of them, it was 3-0. And man, there's just, it's one of those things where you go back and you look and you're like, boy, oh boy, how did they not get more? Everyday Michael says, you win some, you lose some, won't lose sleep over this. On to the struggling Mets. Hopefully we sweep them. Karen and Everyday, you and Karen, Michael, on the same page, says, on to the Mets, a whole month of baseball left. Everyday Ben says, if there are teams, not named the Cubs, that we won't blow out in the near future, we need to remember this type of baseball is playoff baseball. It certainly is. And it's going to be like this with the Cubs, guys. Like, lock in. And I hate to say it because I'm a nervous fan. I'm crazy. I'm all over the place in these games. I'm uncomfortable. My heart rate is racing. So, but it is going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those 5 weeks that we look back, and it's either going to be one of those 5 weeks we remember because of the good times, or one of those 5 weeks we remember because it all kind of fell apart. But this team has shown nothing that I don't think they can't get the job done in the next 5 weeks. And it's all going to come down to those 7 games of the Cubs. The Brewers take 3 out of 4 in that series. Over those 7 games, there's a 4-game series and a 3-game series. They're still in a good spot. The Cubs are out there in Arizona to start next week. So there is going to be a lot riding on the last 5 weeks of the season, but this team, like, let's just end the weekend. Let's end the show on a positive note. This team did exactly what they needed to do this weekend. They did exactly what they needed to do. They won 2 out of 3 against a damn good Braves team with Chris Sale starting on Friday, and they still took 2 out of 3. I'm proud of the team. Obviously, they gained a game in the standings as well over the Cubs. So overall, a good weekend despite the results tonight. A 4-2 Brewers loss in this one, 81-50 on the season as they wrap things up against the Braves. And as so many of you have pointed out, including Karen and Michael, the Brewers heading out to take on the Mets. So an off day on Monday. They'll kick off the series Tuesday against the New York Mets. And that's when you and I will be back right here talking about it after game 1 between the Brewers and the Mets. And it looks like it's going to be Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers when we get back together. My thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all weekend, all season, for being a part of this show. Could not do it without you. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you guys so very much. Don't forget, we're free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts. If you miss anything on the postcast, you want to go back and listen, you miss anything with my guy Chuck Freeman on the daily, go back, subscribe wherever you get audio podcasts. And cool part is you can see my ugly face on YouTube if you want. We're free and available on YouTube as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell. Always get notified when we go live. We'll do it again after game 1 between the Brewers and the Mets. And as always, even though it was frustrating and certainly had opportunities, they still took 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Braves. It is always go Brewers. It's always go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone. We'll talk to you again next week. And as always, make sure you stay locked on Brewers.